Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, November 9th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarification points. First one, this price you see will be changing around, and then the candlestick will also be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a little bit of time. And I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, COIN, Coinbase, very popular stock out there. And yeah, the price was indeed all over the place. Started off rough, opening 30 minutes, big bounce up, and then came back down, which does make sense because it just has continued with the overall trend. And you can see that for quite a bit. And I think the easiest way to see all this is just to watch that purple line there, which on my chart denotes the 50-period moving average. And that also segues into the point that, yeah, this 50-period moving average is highly respected. You can see a couple days ago, rejected the price, and then a couple times more today, rejected the price. So from a very broad point of view and trying to answer the question, okay, is the price looking better? Are the bulls maybe starting to pick up some momentum? I would just watch that purple line, and as long as the price is down below that level, then it's quite straightforward. The bears are in full control, simple as that. Now, that doesn't mean that the price can't make bounces. I mean, there's been several bounces along the way. There is a bounce but failed, bounce, failed, and then today's bounce failed. So if the price does bounce, that does not mean that it'll automatically fail. I'm just trying to convey the message of, yeah, I get it, the price may be bouncing, but I'd be a little bit skeptical of it while the price is still down below that purple line. As far as levels of support, nothing fancy here. Just a question of where did the party finally stop here for the bears, or in other words, when did the bleeding finally stop? And that was down there right around that $48 mark, so keep an eye on that. So yeah, nice little bounce here, late day today. Is it the start of something bigger? We'll see what happens, but from a broader standpoint, just keep an eye on that 50-period moving average. Next one, MULN, very, very impressive bounce today. You can't really deny that at all, but it just becomes a question of, okay, yeah, nice bounce, but is there any sort of genuine power behind this bounce? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. And in my mind, that's where 27 cents comes into play, because in my mind, a truly strong bounce is not going to go straight up because nothing can go straight up, but it is going to show signs of progress, which begs the question, okay, Clay, how are you defining a sign of progress, which is a great question. And in my mind, that is where 27 cents comes into play. Because if you stop and think about it, if the price comes down here, bounce around and then heads back up, what would you have in terms of where the lows are at? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have those lows if you envision those as stair steps. Well, now you have stair steps progressing the upwards direction, and that would be upwards progress. Whereas on the flip side, I'm not saying this will occur, but just for example's sake, if the price comes down here and then just breaks down below it, what do you have? Well, now all of a sudden you have the price having gone right back to where it was. And that's to insult your intelligence. Price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine power or true strength. So is this a nice bounce? Yes. Does this bounce have genuine power behind it? I have no idea, but we can measure genuine power based on whether or not the price is going to show signs of progress, which is, again, is staying above 27 cents. So let's see if it can get that job done or not. Next one, PLTR, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from Monday, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about the red line and green line here, and I bring that up because both levels came into play today and behaved like the chart suggested that they would. So first key level that I talked about previously, you can see the opening 30 minutes, price came down here and found some support on that level. So if anybody, bought the lower part of the pattern here, congratulations. I mean, you got yourself a very nice bounce. And then that's where the flip side of things comes into play. The other area that I talked about was the top part of the area, this pattern, the resistance, and you can see, well, surprise, surprise, that's right where the price got rejected back down. But taking a step back from that and then just looking at this from a bigger picture point of view, as of now, there seems to just be a good old-fashioned sideways channel pattern forming where you have the price starting to bounce back and forth. Does that mean that it's going to head all the way down there? Of course not. No such thing as a guarantee. But would that shock anybody? I don't think so, because when you consider that if this is indeed going to start to be some sort of sideways channel pattern, then yeah, that's part of a sideways channel, the price just chopping around back and forth. But yeah, we definitely now have two well-defined levels. We have the bottom part of the channel support down around 688. We have the top part of the channel resistance up around 742. So let's see how the price continues to play out within these two levels of the pattern. Next one here, AMD, and overall the uptrend continues from back when it started to bottom out here, back around the $56 mark. So overall, a good solid trend, and depending on your perspective, meaning if you're some sort of day trader that was buying up around here and wanted to buy and sell within 10 minutes, Yeah, things are looking better because there's no doubt about it. Late day today, very, very impressive bounce here, but things aren't still near, where you were if you bought as a day trader. But if you do care about the big picture point of view, everything is still perfectly fine. Going back to, the whole idea of just wanting to see signs of progress. And you can see this here once again via those lows. So if we look at the lows it got today and then compare to that low and then that low and that low, you get the idea. There are still very clear stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So no doubt about it. There was a relatively big pullback here that occurred, but nothing crazy from a bigger picture point of view because, the price put in those higher lows. It stayed up above that purple line, which is a good sign. And now as I speak, the price is, making a return back up to potentially do battle with that resistance, which is where the next key level comes into play going into Wednesday, right up there at that $65 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But yeah, big picture wise, the trend remains just fine. Next one here, AMC. And today was a good day, a different day. And maybe you can accuse me of setting the bar kind of low, and that's fair. But I mean, that's kind of just how bad AMC has been. But you know what? The price finally did not put in a new lower low. Again, yes, I realize that's kind of a pathetic bar, but you got to try to look at something. And yeah, the price did not put in any sort of new lows today. First time in a while that it's done that. But the key dynamic to watch very closely now is going to be all about that purple line, which is a 50-period moving average. And like I showed you back on coin, it can be a very commonplace area to struggle. And you can see that happening here on AMC. Price got up around that area several times and could not quite push through it. The good news here is that as I talk and as this last 30 minutes plays out, the price is getting within striking distance of again, which does bring about a valid question. Can the price finally break above that purple line and stay up above it? And let's just call that purple line there at $5.50. So $5.50 will be that main area of resistance to watch moving forward. In terms of levels of support, key dynamic to watch going to be right down there around the $5.30 mark, just because you don't want the price going back to where it was. And if the price goes to that level and falls down below it, then once again, you have the price going back to where it was. And like I said earlier, price movements that go back to where they started, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. Real quickly, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering in just a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. Next one, LYFT, LYFT, very popular stock and one that got absolutely beat down today with earnings. But when stocks that are relatively popular get beat down in a hurry, from a trading standpoint, it can produce some very worthwhile type trading situations. And in my mind, I think the level that a lot of people are going to be watching is going to be this trend line right here, which as I speak, the price has actually gotten up above it, which segues into the ability to ask an interesting question. Is this the start of something bigger? Is this the start of a potential bounce to the upside? Now, it might not be. That's completely a valid observation, but that is a two-sided coin because, well, maybe it is, and this thing is going to pick up that much more momentum. But that's the idea of a watch list, to find unique, to find interesting situations, and not rush out and buy anything, but to watch it and see how the price behaves and see if it ultimately does fit into your personal strategy and risk tolerance. So if you like to play potential reversals and potential, trend line breakouts, the breakout has occurred. Not a whole lot going on right now, but is this some sort of leading indicator for a bigger move to come later on in the week? We'll see what happens. Next one, TSLA, Tesla, and I like this one because we have ourselves a nice little pattern here that's starting to form. Top of the pattern, resistance right up here at 195, and then the bottom part of this pattern right here, you have a nice little uptrending trend line like so. Let me change that to green to represent more so a support and bullish dynamic of the pattern. But yeah, have ourselves a nice little, you could call it miniature ascending triangle here. Granted, though, some people might draw this down and say, what are you talking about? That's a bear flat or bear pennant. That's also more than valid. But it is Tesla, which is a very popular stock, as I'm sure you know. It's been beat down quite a bit. So I'm erring more so on the side of a bullish pattern than a bearish pattern, but I do 100% understand and see your perspective if you're still thinking that this is a bearish pattern. Because, yeah, for me looking at it, I would not be opposed to thinking about something short if the price comes down to that trend line and breaks down through it. All I'm saying is I could equally see the price coming up here and getting a break to the upside, but that circles back to what's the idea of a watch list, to find those unique, to find interesting situations, and then observe them and watch them. So these are going to be the two key levels that I'm watching here for Tesla. So let's see how it plays out on Wednesday. Next one here, GFI, an absolute monster move today. And this is one where, as I speak right now, I can't really say that there's any sort of, set up to play other than the fact of that this thing has a lot of volume. It's got a lot of momentum. And those are interesting situations. When stocks have lots of volume and, movement, then, at an exact moment in time, sure, there's maybe not necessarily a setup, which is the case right now, but that doesn't mean that, sometime on, and I'm just completely making this up, but let's say this thing pulls back here a little bit, and then all of a sudden at that point, you'd have some sort of nice bull flag pattern that forms on Wednesday. Maybe that doesn't happen, but the point here being is the two key things that you need for a quality trade are going to be volume, you're going to need movement, and you have both those here. So yeah, maybe some sort of bull flag forms. Maybe this thing just keeps on beast moding up and up and up, and you can try to catch some sort of momentum and trend. There's a lot of variations, but at the core, I know it's a popular price range down below $10. Got a lot of volume, got a lot of movement. So keep an eye on it if you like to play stocks down in this price range. Next one here, HOOD, Robinhood. And what's interesting about this is I've done this one a long time ago. I don't remember when that was. But the nice thing about my chart software is it'll remember where I put lines. And apparently I put in that green line whenever the last time I did Robinhood. And check this out. Green line was a level of support. And through all the carnage and bloodshed today, that's right where the price actually got a little bit of a bounce from, right at that green line there at $9.60. So keep an eye on $9.60. That's where that green line is coming from. And now, though, as I speak, seemingly the price is making its way down to that level. So we have a very, very interesting situation. We have a situation where there's going to be some people saying, you know what? I think there's another bounce coming. I totally see that perspective. There's going to be another group of people that are saying, no, I don't think it bounces. I think the bears continue with it down. I see that perspective too. Somebody's going to be right. Somebody's going to be wrong. That's why risk management matters. But that's also going back to that core point of what's the underlying dynamic here? What makes this interesting? Well, the fact that this level here was so nicely respected, and that the fact that once again this level is being tested down at 960, so you're going to want to keep a close eye on that. And that is, very clearly the area of support right now to watch. If there are any sort of bounces in the upwards direction, key level to watch in my mind going to be right up there around $10.55. But yeah, in my mind, all eyes on this one right now, right around that 960 mark. So let's see how it plays out. Next one here, TQQQ, and a good classic example here of technical analysis, and a foundational rule in technical analysis states that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So there was this sideways channel. This level right here at 1820-ish was broken. And then, check this out. You could throw this right into a textbook. Price came down, found some support right at that previous breakout point, and then back up it goes. So, just truly a classic example on the power of charts. And another quick plug, get signed up for that free training. But $18.20 to connect those dots remains a key level of support to watch moving forward. And then if this price and bounce in the upward direction continues, all eyes will be on that pink line, which on my chart denotes the very famous, the very well-known 200-period moving average, currently valued at $19.90. But really as straightforward as that one here on TQQQ. Got $18.20 key level of support. Got the 1990 mark key level of resistance. So let's see how this one continues to play out. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, like I said earlier, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. It'll be relatively soon, Thursday, November 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below, even if it's saying hi or what you traded today, what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things help me out, communicate that you enjoy these top 10 videos. And as long as I know people are enjoying, I will continue to do them. So again, get signed up for that training, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Everybody, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.